Welcome to the Triple Takeover Toycast, a fortnightly podcast about Transformers and occasionally other vintage toy lines as well. This is episode 72. We're 3 episodes off our 3-year extravaganza. Just dropping that in there for you right from the start. There you go. Can look forward to that one.
You picked it up now.
I know, right? Yeah, we have to make some plans now. My name is Sixo, but more on that later because, as ever, I'm joined by my 2 animated co-hosts. There you go.
Nice.
Dropping in the theme for the episode.
Spoiler.
Tying it all together. There you go. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I don't think is it a spoiler?
Nah, probably not. Yeah.
Maybe seen the title of the episode.
Good point.
Forgot to this has seen that or the artwork or.
Yeah, right. You kind of hope so, wouldn't you? But if you weren't aware, spoiler, it's an animated episode. Finally, so we are going to talk about Transformers animated tonight. Pretty exciting.
Into the Triple Takeover verse, that kind of animated. We're all going to be like cartoons.
Imagine, yeah, the Liam verse.
Yeah,
it'd just be bottles of rum and packets of crisps floating around everywhere.
Yeah, Liam, I would love you in any universe.
Oh, I love you right back. I heart you
thanks,
too.
man.
Oh,
thanks, man.
Across the universe.
So. That's Liam anyway. Liam from Toybox Soapbox. I was going to do a little snazzy intro for you, Liam, but there you go. I've gone all mushy instead.
Well, for you, I will just say, what ho?
I knew that was coming, and I was not disappointed. We also have Jay Swags of Jason. How you doing?
Very good, gents. Yes, very good indeed. Happy to be excited for this one, if I'm honest. This is...
I'm sure you are.
Yeah, I like this. This is my jam.
How are your Argonauts?
They are doing well, battle's finished, they've just been chilling for,
Have they?
Those bloody skeletons.
Battling your Wheeled Warriors.
I was going to ask about the Wheeled Warriors, yeah.
Totally, yeah. It's for me, it's all, they're just a good crew. That's what it is. Got my golden fleece just back there, So, yeah.
Lovely.
I'm sorted.
So that's especially for you, Jason.
Hey, my namesake.
We're just covering all the Jasons now.
I know exactly.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah.
Have you got your Technicolor Dreamcoat there as well? That's Joseph. Ignore that.
Yeah, well, it was
it's still Jason Donovan.
Jason Donovan.
It was played by him, so we'll give you that one as well.
Yeah,
Jason Donovan.
That was what I meant. That was why I said it. Don't say otherwise.
I'm waiting for the Jason Statham kind of reference, obviously, because we're so similar.
All right, Governor.
You've got too much hair, though.
I know,
that's the thing.
Yeah, and not enough body mass as well.
Well, before we kick off tonight, chaps, I have a very, very important question that I simply have to ask you both. And it's of paramount importance, this, to the topic at hand. Have you been feeling animated lately?
No, not today, which is a bit rare for me.
Oh, that's a shame.
But this will bring it on. That's what I'm hoping. Yeah, exactly.
I'm trying to work out what the punchline is here. Like, where's it going? Have you been feeling animated today?
Feeling animated.
Do you mean like as in animated as in moving about? That's what I assume
yes.
you meant, yeah.
Yeah, it's like an expression, isn't it? But and also feeling the toys.
I wondered. No, I have not been feeling animated. I've been feeling relaxed and chilled.
Oh, that's good. I've actually been getting quite into animated again. It's a bit of a renaissance in this house.
You're doing a rewatch?
Yeah, well, we're doing the rewatch with some mates of ours, aren't we? Which has been a great fun. But actually, even before that, slightly ahead of the curve, because my son has been getting well into it. We're on to the second season now.
Wow, already? Wow.
Yeah, we're flying through it. Yeah, that's honestly, he loves it. So we're watching like an episode or 2 a day at the moment. So he's well into it.
Transwarp speed.
Yep,
that's great. Though so. It is solid, though. It's so good. That's a really good one. Yeah,
it's just such an amazing cartoon. Like it's absolutely one of the best Transformers cartoons. I don't think you could I'm sure people disagree with that, some people, but I've no doubt that pretty uniformly people think that, I think.
Yeah. It's wonderful. It's one of those cartoons I used to watch as it aired. I would download it, but I'd be waiting for it, the next morning, like looking around, like, where is it? As soon as it was available to steal off the internet back in, when was that? 2007?
2007, yeah.
Yeah, it would have been. Yeah.
Yeah, so that was cool, man. I used to just love watching it because it's such a fantastic show. I mean, I know a lot of people don't think it's G1 enough or stupid things like that, but it's like the biggest love letter to G1 that ever existed.
It really is. Yeah, it's great in that regard. So yeah, 2007. Can you believe that was 17 years ago?
I can, because I got married that year. So that's why I missed it. So I played catch up. I got the toys before seeing the show. I was
really?
getting some of the toys before I started watching the show. So I was
That's unusual,
late.
I think.
I was late to the animated show. Yeah, which considering, but my son wasn't around then either. So just
not mine.
It was. You know me. I'm always toys first. That's what it is.
They're all quite friend-shaped as well. Even the bad guys are.
They really are. It's
pretty nice looking, aren't
they? Yeah. And they make the Decepticon and Autobot logos nice and big and chunky, so that I don't miss them, and I just can't get them muddled up.
Easily identify them. Yeah.
Well, let's see, Jason. Let's see.
Well, there are some tricksy ones in this line, aren't they? That kind of hide in plain
some that
sight.
aren't quite purple enough for you, Jason.
Definitely.
Yeah.
But there's 17 years, really. Is that
17 years? Isn't that shocking? Like, I still think of this as a new line in a way. Like, I still think of this as relatively recent stuff, but it's not at all. I mean, 3 years off being vintage, of course. It's a bit scary, isn't it?
It is. But it's, as a line, it's aged really well.
It's almost old enough to vote.
Yeah, it is old enough to vote. That's true.
You might nip into the pub at the weekend and see like an animated Bumblebee sat at the
That's what I was going to say. Activate as Bumblebee, just voting. That's what it is.
In a pub.
I guess the ultimate indictment of it all is that it's old enough now that they're making legacy toys of it all, isn't it? So it's gone to that place of nostalgia where actually it's being re-referenced and homaged in new toy form. So that's when I think. And that was a really scary moment, just sat with 7-0 watching the cartoon, and he just suddenly turned to me and was like, Daddy, can you get toys of this? Because he knows it's an old cartoon. He knows that it's not new. And he's like, can you get toys of this now, like new toys? And I went, yes, actually you can.
Yeah,
like,
that's cool.
Bonkers, you know?
That is really cool.
That's where we're at.
Yeah, it is. I love that. But that's what's so great about the legacy and what they're doing, isn't it? And bringing back, but even back in the day with animated, it crossed the lines with different lines anyway. We had Waspinator in that
very
line,
much so. Oh yeah, 100%.
which is a great figure, and those, they just seem to have a lot of fun.
It's a fun line.
It is.
Well, we'll get into the kind of genesis of it all a little bit because tonight we are going to talk predominantly about the Voyagers and Leader toys. We are going to focus on the toys, I think, more than the cartoon, or I'm sure the cartoon will come into it because they're very much intertwined. But we are going to focus on those. We talked a lot about how we were going to kind of carve this up because we felt like if we were to do the line as a whole, we really wouldn't be doing any of it justice. So, we're going to delve into the Voyagers and Leaders specifically. I'm sure we'll come back and do the deluxe toys and some of the exclusives and things. And maybe some of the cancelled toys another time. And I'm sure there'll be some minisodes spinning off this as well. We've already done a minisode actually on animated Lockdown, specifically, which was a minisode request actually from one of our Sixo's butlers.
Good fun.
It was really good.
It was great. It was good fun.
That's out now. You can listen to that already. And it was a great chat. So, which is of course a good moment for me to say that we have a Patreon and indeed a sponsor for the evening, which is tfsource.com. So do check them out for your Transformers and third-party needs. And then you can get on our Patreon as well, where there are 5 glorious tiers. And if you want to hear that animated Lockdown conversation, that you're going to have to go to Sixo's Butlers for, as I say. But before that, you could just be a man-in-pig and get early access, or indeed an apologetic ramp and just pay us £1 a month just to support the show. That's always appreciated. You can be an inner beast and get on our Discord as well. I'm sure there's going to be quite a lot of conversation about Transformers animated on there following this episode and the Lockdown minisode as well. But we've got all kinds going on in the Discord at the moment, and we'll do a bit of a longer segment about the Discord at the end of the episode because we've got some questions from the Discord. Don't we, Jason?
We do indeed. Yep, lined up, ready to go. Get your answers sorted.
Yep, locked and loaded.
Indeed.
Jason's both barrels there. And you can...
You nailed that one. Stock, didn't you?
Oh, yeah. Very much so. But then you can just be a Sixo's Butler, as I say, and you get access to fortnightly minisodes, including the Lockdown one that I keep referencing, and you get to commission your own. And then, of course, you can be a Gold Box Classic, which is our top tier, and you get access to fortnightly mini-series on ongoing topics. And we have 4 mini-series ongoing at the moment. We have one on Skybound, which we've just done another chapter of.
Amazing.
Which was great fun, wasn't it?
Yeah, so good. Such a great
brilliant.
chat. Love that comic.
We also have Tatman, Liam's ongoing series about whatever tat he's discovered down the back of his sofa or behind his fridge that month.
Yes, that's where I find all of these toys, is behind the sofa.
Not in a box in the loft, no. Just...
I don't know.
They're normally in a plastic bag, aren't they? Just handed to you at some event or something.
A suitcase at a wrestling event. That reminds me, actually, I keep forgetting I've got that suitcase of Starcom and Dino Rider stuff I need to poke back through.
Yeah, why would you forget that?
See, now that's gone into the Tatverse, because now I don't know where it is. It's somewhere in the house, and someday I'll find it, like the Tat Dimension.
The Tat Dimension. Love it.
The thing about the suitcase, though, it's like a proper 70s, 80s looking suitcase as well. It's got that retro vibe. Retro all around.
Nice.
Right, bring that to TFN. That's what you need. Yeah, just fill it with loot. Yeah.
Fill it with toys. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but speaking of retro, so if you want to look cool,
hang on, I haven't finished my bit yet.
You're not finished?
No.
Oh, look at that, a perfect link.
Dude, let me get on with it, and then I'll be done. I've got so much to say. That's the thing.
So many tears. So many tears.
Exactly. Just so much to talk about.
Sixo's got so much to say. What?
Imagine. I know. I can never shut me up.
Where are we?
Don't steal my limelight. Anyway, no, you can also get. There's my own miniseries on IDW's More Than Meets the Eye, which is pretty fab, and indeed there's a new Jason series which you can get your ears into as well, all about Titan's return. Which has been great fun so far. We've only had one, but it was an enjoyable one, and I can't wait for part 2.
It's brilliant. It's been brilliant. He's been transporting us back through the Titan's return era.
Oh, no. So
nice.
Genius. Yes, very good. Very good, guys.
What's the next one going to be, Jason? Any clues, or are you keeping stum?
I'm going to keep Stum again. I like to reveal it. I'm also going to play the game and see if you can work out which one it will be. If you get it right again, I'll be really freaked out. But no, it's going to be a surprise.
Overlord.
I've got a couple in mind. No, not Overlord.
Black Shadow.
This is today's episode. Guess the next Titan's return figure.
Don't worry, Jason. I'm sure you'll keep them coming fast and furious.
Yeah, there we go. Is he in that?
Oh,
yeah, he's in some of them.
Oh, is he? Oh, I didn't realise.
Well, I thought you would have known.
I've
You're
been
like
in
brothers,
everything,
honestly. Exactly.
So we're so similar, you know.
Separated at birth.
There are so many of those films, though. I think every actor in Hollywood has been in there.
True. Yeah, valid.
It's like Marvel, isn't it? It's just,
everyone gets a shot. Yeah.
Exactly. Right, go on, Liam. Do your bit. Do your stint.
Well, no, I was just going to say we had a nice little message.
Did we?
Asking, from old Sid from Sydney. Not our pal Sid,
Oh, but I thought you meant him for a minute.
No, but he's not located in Australia, which is where Sydney is. And that's where Sid is from. And so he was telling, it's quite hot over there. And so he just wondered if on our Rebel store, do we perhaps do any nice sleeveless T-shirts with sort of retro-looking images on? And I'm here to tell you, Sid, we do. You can get all kinds of T-shirts, laptop cases, all this stuff. But if you don't like sleeves, my friend, get on there. Get yourself a nice Triple Takeover branded logo. Something, the G2 Omnibots, those are nice, cool looking vintage styles, retros, right up your street. Or whatever you call streets in Australia, that's what it's right up. So you can find those, Sid, at rebel.com/people/Triple Takeover/explore. See? Knew it.
Very good.
Off by heart.
Perfect.
Do you know the temperature today in Sydney, Australia was 21 degrees, apparently?
God,
yeah,
jealous.
But is that in British temperatures or American temperatures? That make no sense. The one where it's like,
no,
it's 500
Celsius.
Degrees outside.
Yeah. They never do make sense, don't they?
Yeah. They keep the Celsius.
830 degrees. What?
It's cold.
I was watching Sky Sports News earlier, and they were talking about an American football game and they were like, and it was played in -20. I was like, they'd be dead if it was -20.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, it's American. I was like, that's probably like 30 degrees right now temperature, isn't it?
Yeah, I've never understood it, honestly. I'm happy knowing that 0 is freezing and 100 is boiling, and that's always just made sense to me. But
totally. Is it it's something like -40 is freezing in Fahrenheit? It never made any sense. Yeah, it's just confusing.
Yeah, nonsense,
exactly.
Honestly.
Yeah.
But no, Sydney today apparently, little bit overcast, rain tomorrow, average of 21 degrees. So
Sid's happy then.
Surprised Sid didn't know that, but...
Well, no, I'm just going to say, I'm going to encourage Sid, like, if you're going to buy a sleeveless shirt for when it's sunshiny, obviously for this kind of overcast weather, as Michael Fish Sixo over there has just kindly informed us about, that's Get yourself a nice sleeve top or a long sleeve top. Keep yourself warm. Don't get cold.
Michael Fisho.
Yeah, Michael Fish.
That's very different.
I think that's the first time I've ever been compared to Michael Fish. I want to say it is. I hope so. First and last, preferably.
More on that later.
I love how he gets Jason Statham and I get Michael Fish.
Admittedly, it was me that said that, So.
True.
I love that out there are people in America who have no idea who Michael Fish is.
Yeah,
I know.
Look him up.
Google it. BBC, Michael Fish, weather. You'll find him.
Yeah. Hurricane, isn't it?
Yeah, of course.
The Great Storm, the one where he told everyone that there was nothing to be worried about.
Does it not like one slate?
Fine.
Yeah. It'll be fine. And the next morning, everyone awoke to trees ripped out the ground, houses smashed to bits, and cars sent to Oz.
Pretty legendary, yeah.
Where Sydney is.
Yeah, brilliant.
Right, so animated then. Now, I really wanted to think about the best place to kind of kick this off because, as I say, we're not going to go line wide. We're not going to do all the toys because I think, as I said, we just really wouldn't do it justice. So deluxes, exclusives, unreleased toys, and Takara Tomy stuff, I would say, we'll come back and look at another day. Although I'm sure we'll reference some of that along the way of this. And we're really going to focus in and drill down on those Voyagers and Leaders. But I do think it's worth just taking a little bit of time at the start to just kind of talk about the line generally, because we've actually not spent much time talking about animated at all on this podcast so far, have we?
No, it was just the lockdown recently.
Yeah, I mean, we're approaching 3 years and I can't think of an animated themed episode other than the lockdown one, and that's it, isn't it?
We did a little bit in like hidden gems once and things like that. I think both me and Maz chose an animated toy for a hidden gem, as I recall. But other than that, the odd toy here and there. I think it's just one of those topics that we've held off on because there's obviously so much reverence for this line from so many parts of the fandom that you want to do it justice. And I was thinking about this tonight, kind of before we got recording, that actually I don't think you can. I don't think there's so much to know about animated specifically, particularly because of Derek J. Wyatt, how obviously intertwined he was with everything and how prolific he was in everything he put out there as well, and how much information he shared with the rest of the community. I think that to really be wholly definitive on this line, I don't even know if it is possible, but certainly I don't think that's what we're shooting for tonight, is it?
No, absolutely not. It's just, man, like that whole toy line, you go back to it and you remember how it impacted people, and the reverence, like you say there, like the reverence they still hold it in now. It's a toy line that's really hooked itself into certain parts of the fandom, I'd say, isn't it? Because there is a proportion of people who don't like it, but those that do love it.
I think, even the people that don't like it, I think there's still, I'm sure there are people that just slate it, and that's fine, but there seems to still be like a general respect for it, which
a begrudging respect.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's still an acknowledgement that it was trying something, it was doing something different, even from the people that maybe don't want to collect it, for example.
Yeah, like you say, it's just really hard to do that justice, really, and talk about the toys and kind of to the degree, like you could almost do like a mini-sode on each toy because there's so much to talk about, like from Derek J. Wyatt's like design philosophies and the inspirations behind each detail and what it's homaging and what it means to people and sort of what it's led to, because that's a lot of the thing with these toys and these characters. It's funny because so many of them homage G1 or other eras or whatever, but it's actually, they seem to inform a lot of things moving forward.
It was a real watershed in its way because it was very much a line that in a lot of regards was looking to the past for inspiration and homaging things, but it was new as well, and it did something that had never been done before.
Yeah.
And I think, you see that with characters like Bulkhead, which is the obvious one, but many besides that have become franchise mainstays since. And details about already existing characters that have been informed about by the way they were portrayed and animated. And I think that's really telling of how much reverence, again, there is for this whole line.
Yeah. I feel it was a love letter in the first part of G1, and then, but because it was such a modern take on characters, really a different art style, and how well those animated characters from the cartoon translated into the toys. That for me, that's what absolutely hooked me. They were just like, at the same time we were getting like Spawn toys coming out, and that were like Violator and the Clown and Spawn, and they were really stylized and kind of this cell shaded, and then animated did that as well. The McFarlane toys, exactly, and they just fitted really well, and we hadn't really had anything in the toy line for Transformers like that was so stylish and so different in design. I really loved it.
I don't think there's been another toy line before or since that has ever matched the cartoon so closely. Like you can tell they were designed in tandem. Like a lot of times you get cartoons where characters are designed for a toy and then translated into a cartoon, but here it doesn't feel like that. It always feels like there's that horrible word synergy, isn't there, between the two things?
It really does so.
It was. It was very unique for Transformers at the time, and I think it's worth putting in context, actually, just quickly, of kind of where animated sort of came from. I mean, in brief terms, what always shocks me is thinking that it was 2007, but I have this thing, I think, in my brain that everything pre-2007 I think of as sort of in the past, as quite old, but I don't know if it's because of the movie or what it is that also happened at this time, but there's a definite break, if you like, a sort of split that happens at that point between old and new Transformers. It still surprises me now to think that the Unicron trilogy only really kicked off in 2002, and actually now when you look at the journey that took place from there to here, it was quite clear that, Aaron Archer and everyone that was working on the Unicron trilogy from Armada onwards was building up towards getting the franchise ready, if you like, for a big live action movie, that they were looking to kind of take that next step and kind of put the franchise, back on the map, if you will, from where it had been, and that they were kind of, planting the seeds, sowing all those little details that would kind of lead it there. And what's interesting about the end of the Unicron trilogy in sort of 2005-6, even, because there were some toys around, even 2006, and then you get all the movie toys in 2007. Animated is really the sort of first new show, with the movie coming in and everything, that goes in its own direction and kind of looks to the past, but also, as I say, is this kind of new thing. And with that, things were just done so differently. And you're right, Liam, there was this kind of collaboration between the toys and Cartoon Network and everything else all kind of feeding in. So you had Hasbro and Takara and Cartoon Network all working together with, Derek J. Wyatt as well, to kind of give these characters the look and feel that would translate between the toys and the show, which apparently is why a lot of them transform in the same ways the toys do, as you see on the screen as well, things like that, because of that synergy. There you go. I've used the word as well. Had to be done.
We should just retire now. Shouldn't be using that word.
not a fan of that one, eh?
Oh, it's an abused word, isn't it? That's kind of one of them ones you heard it so much when people say it, and often in the wrong meaning, or just use it for everything to sound clever, and you're like, but it's accurate. So
it is really accurate, because you're exactly right in the way that they were each collaborating, and God, wouldn't it be amazing to have been a fly on the wall watching that process of like toy manufacturer and Derek J. Wyatt bringing in his knowledge and expertise into this as well, and then from an animation point of view, and then from the toy manufacturing point of view, I think that's why it has such a broad appeal, because they went with that as the focus, and then they made some really great decisions on those characters, but also on the toys that they produced as well, that were just made for a lot of fun. I think that's, for me, it's a really fun line as well.
It's super fun.
There's a lot of really nice gimmicks in there, a lot of just really simple transformations, but really satisfying, and it just came together so well. It's like it's totally one of my favorite lines, far and away.
It's
Transformers.
I think Derek J. Wyatt was an absolute treasure, and just like I was saying about how there's the synergy between the cartoon and the show, I can't think of another toy line that's so connected to one person. Like when you animate 100%. Derek J. Wyatt, like everyone else, you can think of individuals, but you think of them all as part of a team. Whereas animated obviously had a massive team of talented people, but you're like, it's Derek J. Wyatt. That's his show, and he's who you associate with. I can't think of another show or part of Transformers that's like anything like that.
Yeah, and so much of that is about the look and the feel of it, isn't it? I mean, ultimately, there were writers, Marty Eisenberg, plenty of people involved that all made it as special as it is. The cartoon and everything else, and there will have been other designers and things involved and everything as well. But it's the style of it that really sticks out for a lot of people. And the look and the feel of it. And I think it's mad to think now that this was not liked by a lot of people on first glimpse. I still remember, and hand on heart, full confession, I remember seeing the first promo. I always say that wrong. Promo.
Promo.
No, don't go backwards. Stay with the promo.
Yeah, I'm going to say it right.
You can do Patreon promo.
I can do this.
Wow.
What is it you said? I was devastated, absolutely crushed by you saying on the last episode, I think it was, "Oh, you took it like a real boy."
Like a grown-up.
I've never been
You're revolving
so
on this very podcast.
Right. I've never been so low-key, flat-out insulted in my whole life. Apart from when someone said I look like Michael Fish or whatever it was. I don't know. Anyway, moving on.
But more where that's coming from.
I'm sure you do, mate. I'm sure you do. But no, it's I forgot my point now. I can't remember what I was going to say. But no, I remember seeing the first promo pictures and not really liking it to start with, just because it was so alien to anything I kind of knew of. Yeah, exactly. It was the shock of it, and I didn't viscerally hate it in the same way that so many people did, but I was a bit like, not sure. Like,
do you think it was? Do you think it was the caution of like, because you can see quite stylized stuff in media, and the fear that then is like, oh, how's that going to translate into a toy line? Because that does happen. They'll do something for screen, and it's like kind of the fear of that. It didn't. For me, I was like totally in. I was just like, I love.
Really?
I think because stylistically,
for the first picture.
Stylistically, I just really like it. But I like that kind of like manga. It had the manga anime style kind of just lines to it, and the bold use of color, and it just had something that gels with the type of stuff that I like. So I was really excited about it, and I felt like I wanted a change from what had been going before. It was it was so different. I think that was exciting as well. I really like that.
Yeah,
I remember the first time I saw the image, and I remember, like you, Sixo, I wasn't sure.
Yeah, that's probably the better way to say it. Yeah,
but there was a mixture of things going on. It's like we'd had Energon and stuff like that, and we'd gone to Computer Aid, and I was happy to see it go back to cartoons, and it was like the proportions, and it was different, but at the same time, it looked a lot like Cartoon Network stuff of the time, if you know what I mean.
It does.
It was like a look, and it was
it looked like Teen Titans.
It does
totally. The early 2000s Teen Titans was my first thought of what it looked like.
But do you know what it was that actually turned me on it? Of all things, it was like a comic strip thing. It was called Lil Formers. I don't know if you remember.
Yeah.
And there was an image they did of animated Optimus Prime, and he was looking into like a fun house, or Optimus Prime looking into a fun house mirror, and it was showing of animated Optimus Prime, and it made a joke. And I just looked at it, and I remember seeing it and thought, that just feels really mean-spirited, you know what I mean? And actually, it like flicked a switch, and it suddenly, the more I looked at it, I went, you know what, actually, it's really good. I really like it. I don't think this kind of humor was warranted. And because I saw a lot of people were echoing that at the time. There was a lot of like real derogatory stuff thrown at it, like the art style. And I remember just reading it on like in the fandom at the time, and like people were just cruel. And I just thought, no, that one strip just felt I don't know, so mean-spirited and stuff. It made me re-look at it, because I didn't dislike it. I just looked at it and went, it's a bit weird. It hadn't quite sat. And it was, once I saw that, I looked at it again and went, no, actually, it's really good. And it doesn't deserve this kind of the backlash it's getting.
Yeah, it really did get, I mean, a very, very negative reaction from some quarters, from lots of quarters, actually, in the beginning. But then I feel like it won people over, and I think we've said this before on the pod, but once it was seen in motion, a lot of the animation and things like that, and certainly once the first trailers and teasers and stuff started to kind of come out, a lot of people were like, oh, this is great, actually, like it looks superb.
It really did look great.
I mean, it looked incredible, and certainly by that point, I was won over. Yeah,
single Transformer show ever, though, isn't it? It's every cartoon ever. The second time it's shown, the first image, people are like, "Oh, I don't like this. This all looks wrong." Then they watch it and go, "Actually, that was really good."
But it's because it's change. It's like something, and this was a big change as well. Big step.
It was a big change,
so that people get the immediate fear.
Earthspark.
Well, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
I think for my own part, this was definitely one of the shows that taught me actually to give this stuff a chance, and to just be open-minded, because my God, what a result. It turned out to be one of the best. And it would have been so easy to write something like this off and just be like, oh God, it's a bit different. I'm not sure. And just never look into it. And I was hooked on this show when it was airing. I just loved every second of it. Just absolutely brilliant.
I'm actually trying to think about when and how I saw it. Like, what was it? It was broadcast because it was on kids' TV, wasn't it?
Yeah,
as part of
What do Cartoon Network?
Yeah. Well, this is worth saying as well, because this was the main line. This was the kids. This was the kids' line of Transformers. You had the movie toys, which were also for kids, of course. But I would put the movies as separate to whatever else is going on. Just like now with Rise of the Beast, you've got toys there existing at the same time as Legacy and Spark and everything else. It's like another sort of facet of Transformers almost. And then you had Classics, which was kicking off at this point, following the kind of end of the Unicron trilogy and everything. But that was, I would say, a little bit more kind of collector orientated. You had reissues kind of emerging around this time. Mm-hmm. So it was a good time for Transformers. There was Masterpiece, not in the sort of full throws as it is now, but you would have been getting stuff like, I think, Skywarp and
what? Which MPO? Which one? I
don't think there was any of those, was there?
I don't think there were any O's, Liam. No O's. Yeah.
It's funny to think, like, you look at that line, and we are in like the liftoff phase of everything we have now. It's that,
exactly
that it really is, like you were saying, like you think of stuff before that as vintage, and it makes sense, because when you work out exactly what kicks off from Classics, Masterpiece, and the movie, and where this goes, and it's actually a shame for animated, because it's the movie success which shortens drastically animated, because they see that and obviously they look at animated and go, this doesn't fit in with that at all. We want a more movie kind of style in a cartoon, so it gets cut short. Because what did we get? 3 seasons of animated, or was it 2?
We got 3 seasons, and they were working on the 4th, of course. And my understanding, anyway, and look, I'm not an expert on this, but my understanding is that it was several things. Firstly, they wanted, with Revenge of the Fallen coming out, and a couple of years later, they wanted to focus on those toys instead of animated necessarily. And secondly, and perhaps more importantly, Hasbro wanted to have more control over their cartoons and the media, which is where you got into Prime, rather than doing a deal with Cartoon Network. So the rumor, anyway, and I don't know how true this is, the hub, yes, indeed.
Yeah.
The rumor is that they sort of not fell out with Cartoon Network, but ultimately the arrangement fell apart a little bit because they didn't have the say that they wanted to have. And a lot of people like Prime and really like Prime, but man, it would have been amazing to get a 4th season of animated.
It would have, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
It's a shame. But then there's always that thing, isn't it, where like some of the best shows didn't get their kind of completion. They were kind of cut short, so then they get this kind of notoriety about them, and it makes them even more popular after the fact of like, oh, what could it have been? Because it never had time to fail as such, or become a bit mediocre.
I do know what you mean, because I think in a way, and it's not the subject for today, I think we should come back on this another time, but the tail end of animated and all the unreleased stuff, which has a lot of it has been glimpsed. I mean, a lot of it was on the packaging even, and then didn't get released.
That's true.
Which is mad. I mean, I picked up Ironhide not so long ago, and on the box there, you've got adverts for Waspinator, Wasp, and things like that. And
Order Megatron.
Yeah. It was all to happen. But I think in a way that, as you say, Jason, that curtailing of the line makes it a bit more, I don't want to say notorious, but it's like the infamy of like G2 is so exciting because of how much unreleased stuff exists, and how much has been seen.
Yeah.
And animated has a bit of that as well, which I think adds to the intrigue.
It does. The excitement, yeah.
Yeah, there's always an element with things like this as well, where most shows have a moment where it ends and you feel like it's time to move on to the next thing. But when shows like animated are cut off at the knees way too early and it's unfulfilled, and so you kind of feel like there are people who are still not ready to move on from that because they haven't had the resolution or ending that they should have had.
Completely agree. Agree.
And then what happens is you take that into the toy line and you create your own ending if you're a kid. That's the thing. And that's, that's you take those. That's what I did with my G1 toys. It was like you play out the show in how you want it to end as well.
Yeah. So don't even need to be a kid in this case. I certainly wasn't at the time. So.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Talking about the toys then, and kind of coming on to the actual subject for tonight. I mean, these Voyager and Leader toys, I think, they're just so good. All of them, honestly. Certainly the ones that I have. I don't have all of them. Jason, I think you've got certainly most of these. Is that fair to say?
Yep. I have 4... Nope, that's Discord. Automatic selection on my apps. So on my animated... For the Voyagers,
has he got the spreadsheet up?
Got my spreadsheet.
Does,
Got 8. I've got 8 records on this.
So I've records. You sold it on vinyl.
I didn't buy duplicates. So I've got atomic lug nut. I don't have lug nut. So it's that kind of thing.
You have the mold, yeah.
But I've got the mold, yeah. And I've got 3 of the leaders as well. So. Is that close to having them? There was 12, wasn't there? Is that right?
Something like that, yeah. Roughly. 12 molds, I think between the two.
Oh, I've got 11. I'm missing one. What am I missing? Oh, I'm going to have to find out what I'm missing now.
We'll find out today.
Yeah. Well, let's just go through and look at them then and see what it's all about. So maybe you've got some spares, Jason, some expendables?
Oh, there we go, you see. That's what...
Maybe.
This is good. Have you literally got IMDb up right in front of you? Which is like every movie.
Maybe. Can neither confirm nor deny.
It's genius. Yeah.
Wouldn't that be a thing?
I was
He's really cranking it up.
I was about to say that. So, yeah, don't worry. I've got plenty of collateral for making jokes of this kind.
It's a shame we're not doing the deluxes here because you've got oil slick in the
Very
deluxes
true.
line, and then that's a sequence in one of the Jason Statham's, isn't it, where he gets all oiled. But
I wouldn't know. Yeah. What Jason Statham movies are you watching?
Jason Statham as oil slick.
Exactly. Yeah.
Just getting oiled up,
Just
right?
oiled up, exactly.
All right, let's lube this place
Jason
up.
Statham style in a garage.
Yeah.
Anyway, the toys then are pretty great, aren't they? So, I mean, look, the obvious place to start is A Tale of Two Bulkheads, isn't it? Because
absolutely,
as much as we could look at the Voyagers first or whatever, there was clearly a thing at this point, wasn't there, about having characters represented in multiple price points, which, you saw from the movie. And this was really the first time, other than the movie, I think that had been done. Like, I can't think of another toy line before this where it's like, you've got your large version of this guy and the small version. Yeah. Unless I've completely spaced on it. Other than, I guess, like Spy Changers maybe in RID. Because you had like the little mini Optimus Prime and Scourge and things like that.
It was quite funny and animated though, because you got like the different versions of different sizes and price points as well. It as well. But there is a big difference between that Voyager bulkhead and the Leader bulkhead.
Well, so I only have the Leader, I've got to tell you. And
me too.
What people
I had the Voyager.
Oh, did you? And people have always told me that the Voyager is better.
Oh, really? See, I got the Leader because, many reasons.
Bigger.
And it's got the Headmaster as well, which I just freaking love that.
And it's bigger.
And it's and he's got missile pods.
Bigger.
And a grabby hand, a spinny hand, and
I'm tempted to say that the Voyager is more cartoon accurate in some regards. But the leader, there was just something about the Voyager for me. It's small, isn't it?
It was actually, and this will blow your mind, but I had the Takara version.
Ooh,
the shiny
green
one. Yeah. Nice.
I got it for free as well. I got the 2-pack.
Of course you did.
It and Soundwave. No.
in a bag.
It was on Amazon randomly, like 2000 and something. But it was on Amazon, and so I bought it, and it turned up, and they sent it in a black bin liner.
What? Just that?
Yeah. So
just
it
loose.
didn't come from Amazon directly. It came from like a seller in Japan or something like that.
Wow.
So when it came, the box was all battered. I wasn't that bothered because it was cheap anyway. But and so I just sent them a message saying it's probably best not to wrap stuff just in a bin liner. There was literally no wrapping around it, just a bin liner. And they didn't respond or anything, but they just refunded me the money.
Oh wow!
Wow.
All the money.
Brilliant.
That's amazing. What a free figure.
But this was even less show accurate because it had like that. I don't know if you've seen the Takara versions of all these. They've got this like shiny candy coated paint.
Yeah, it is.
And it
Sparkles.
is not cartoon accurate, so I get there's people who don't like it, but it looks amazing.
It does look
so
very
nice
pretty, that figure. Yeah.
But yeah, it isn't a big toy. It's been a long time since I had it, but I don't remember it being big because it came with the Soundwave. It was a deluxe. It didn't feel much smaller.
Yeah, that's the thing for me, and that was kind of ultimately why I opted for the leader in the end, was purely because, I mean, the toys don't really scale anyway, which is a bit of a downside of this line. Like it is, scale's never been a major thing in Transformers, certainly not at this point, by this point, but maybe more nowadays. But I don't know, there was just something about Bulkhead looking so tiny, because although it's a Voyager, because of the bulk of it, for want of a better word, it's sort of the robot mode and his proportions, because he's quite truncated, he ends up looking quite small next to like Prime and those guys, even next to Bumblebee. Yeah, exactly.
And a lot of kibble as well in the Voyager one at the back. Although there's kibble in both of them. Although I read earlier when I was looking at this on the leader one, I didn't know this, but you can make the back into a chair. It says on the wiki.
You can.
Which I had no idea about that, actually. So I was going to try that in the future. That sounds cool.
Yeah, because he's from the cartoon, where he swings his kibble around into a little seat and sits down and has a little oil can.
It's great.
You can literally do it. You do that. It's quite good fun.
It was, for me, though, it was in... So one thing about animated across the board is, same as I was talking about with Titan's Return, is these were on the shelf in the toy shops. You could walk in and you could pick something up. And I remember seeing Bulkhead in its box just looking epic with that.
The leader
class, with the big bright pink Paramaster head that goes in there as well, which is just a ridiculous add-on gimmick in itself. And just looked like a load of fun. I bought it purely because, keep in mind, I hadn't seen the cartoon at this point. I was just going on the basis of how they looked in the box on display. And I think it was the first one, because that was first wave, wasn't it, Bulkhead? He came out.
Yes, I believe so. Yes.
I just it was a kind of immediate buy for me as well. Not realizing how, as I said earlier, about all the different gimmicks he has. He's got his like missiles. He's got a little spinny saw blade he has
on the leader one. Yeah. Now this is quite a point of contention, that spinny saw blade.
Yeah,
thing. A lot of people hate that.
Yeah, because it's not show accurate, is it? Is that right?
No. Yeah. No. Whereas the Voyager one does have a kind of ball and chain thing going on, which is actually what he has in the show.
I was going to say, that's one of the gimmicks I remember that was great about the Voyager, was the little ball and chain thing. He uses that in the show all of the time.
Yeah.
See, I preferred the Voyager, because I don't like it when they have stuff like the saw blade, stuff that's not meant to be there, but you can't hide or put away. There's lots of stuff like that. But the Voyager was great. Like the leader looks cool, but man, that little Voyager.
I think that's the thing. You kind of got to want a great toy over the scale of it, really, don't you? You've got to prioritize that, which is a fair thing to do.
And that's the thing with this Voyager, because he was so he was not small, but just squat. He was very nice to just pick up and muck about with and turn back and forth. And he had these little spring-loaded bits. I remember his head pops out of his chest as you pull it out.
Oh, cool.
Automorph style. And
that's cool.
Similar thing with his arms. You pull it like a latch or a peg or something, and his arms pop out.
That's
it's just a really nice little mold, one of those where you're just like, it's just a lovely toy, and you can see why kids would enjoy it.
I would like to get one. I think to be honest, it's the Takara one that would kind of appeal for me. I
Yeah,
don't want to go.
shiny.
Yeah, I don't want to go wholesale on the Takara versions because I think that way lies madness. Because you just end up getting both versions, and
Yeah.
I don't have room for that, man. Some of these are big toys.
They are.
But,
It's collectible, having all them all together as well.
Yeah,
so shiny.
Yeah, God, I mean, I would go blind. But I would like to get that one just because, given that there are two molds anyway, to have one in the shiny green and then the larger one, and the Takara Leader one is like just muddy and weird.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it?
He's kind of covered in mud and looks like he's trodden in dog poo.
Yeah.
So that might not be the one for you.
Hey!
Perhaps not. Perhaps
that
not.
movie, it's got Jason Statham with the worst American accent of all time. Do you remember it?
Yeah, I do.
It's
remember.
the one with Jet Li, and he's like an American cop, and he's just because Jason Statham's British accent.
Yeah,
his American accent. He's like, yeah, boss, I'm American. Chief. I'm just about to retire. He's doing all that, and he's doing it, and you just when I first met my girlfriend, we've been talking about films and silly things, and we talk about that film and laugh, and it was one of the things we both went to straight away was his accent and how stupid it was.
Yeah, that's a fair comment.
He should have just gone the way Michael Caine went and just not tried. Just been,
governor.
Yeah, exactly.
Why do we fall, Master Bros?
Yeah, exactly.
It's pretty good, actually. I was right there in the moment there. God,
I would be the same though. I would buy quite happily buy the Voyager Takara version because of that candy green color, shiny. It's so
odd. I just want it.
It is totally, yeah. But that's definitely a separate conversation because going down the Takara Tomy route of animated is a whole kind of rabbit hole.
It really is. I had a similar thing with the Megatron, which we'll come to. But they had the Takara Megatron at the last TFN Minicon in Manchester. And I was just admiring it in hand. It was just like, I think they had it was before I got the Hasbro version, which I now have. And they had both, actually, I think, next to one another on the same table.
Because we were looking at them, weren't we?
Yeah, they literally stood next to each other. So it was a good chance to sort of compare the two. I'd be hard-pressed to tell you that they're not both worthwhile, like they do things very differently. So it is an interesting conversation. Regarding Bulkhead, the one that would really intrigue me as well is the Mudbuster repaint that was never done.
It's cancelled.
Yeah, the cancelled one with the black head and black sort of limbs and things and extra yellow bits on it and everything. Just looks amazing.
Yeah, it's really nice.
Yeah. There are some copies of this thing out there. I think old Piog had one back in the day, for example. Oh. So there's a couple that exist, but I'm sure they go for a small fortune by now.
That's the thing about this line, though, isn't it? That there was all these different versions that were ready to go, but then they got canned. And we do have photos of them. We've seen them. You look at the wiki, you'll see them as well.
Some of them are available to buy, on eBay and stuff, weren't they? Because there were variations of toys that were out there that people were able to actually get hold of. These,
yeah, it's so true. Absolutely bonkers. Next up, then, I guess, sticking with the Voyagers, what about Optimus Prime?
Well, I've never owned the Voyager, but I've handled it, and it was very nice. It's a classic toy, isn't it? But it's not one I know that well, to be honest, because I only had the Cybertron mode Deluxe.
Yeah, right. The smaller one. This is like one of the quintessential animated toys, I think, in some ways, and you can see why, because it's just. It kind of does everything you want it to represent that character. I think it's pretty definitive in a lot of regards. It's the one that, like a lot of people with the new legacy effort of Optimus Prime, a lot of people are kind of comparing that to this, for example, the Voyager.
I still need to buy that.
The new one?
Yeah. I've been pulled in now. The more I see it, it looks great.
It does look good. I will now confirm that the Voyager I don't have is Optimus Prime. Because I have the Supreme version of Optimus Prime. So
to go with your Cheetor.
Exactly. Which I found in a box in the loft earlier as well. Yeah. Haunting me.
Got to mention him once an episode.
Exactly. Got to be brought up. That guy.
Yeah.
So I've seen the Voyager Optimus Prime, and it's an obvious gap. As well. So
it's so nice. This is one that I would love to get every color of. You know, I mean, like it's a classic thing, isn't it, to have multiple color optimi. Anyway, you know,
there's
it's
many
often
variations of it, though, isn't there?
Yeah, there really are. There really are.
Does this have the crystal version that you can get?
No, that's the smaller one. Actually, that's the deluxe.
That's the deluxe
because that comes in a 2-pack with Rodimus. With a crystal Rodimus, which I have actually, and I don't mind the deluxe figure. Like it's all right, you know, it's good. But this is really nice. This one, there's a black repaint which I don't have, but
this is the best mold of the animated ones.
Yeah, for sure,
of the lot.
For sure, I really think so. And there's the Toxitron version, of course, which I may have a lead on. Just saying.
Oh, really? Oh, interesting.
Yeah. Watch this space. More on that another day. Shan't say too much now.
Wow.
Playing coy on that one.
What a shock. Sixo getting one of them toys like that.
Well, you know, it's got to be done.
Nothing.
Not like it's nothing, honestly, but it's certainly not nothing. It's a big old deal. But yeah, pretty excited about that one. And of course, there was the Takara version with all the gubbins as well.
Yeah,
the gubbins, not
all
the
gubbins, all the bigiblins. Yeah, indeed, all the stuff.
Did the Voyager did they all come with the same? Was it the dual-headed axe that he had as his weapon? Is that the Voyager for Prime?
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, it's got two sides to it. Yeah, kind of fans out. But the only thing I would say about this toy is that it's just such a blooming crying shame that they never did a trailer for it.
I was going to say that. I was going to say the same thing because I remember that from the show. It was there. It was right there. Like they could have done the larger version with that. They could have turned it into that wing pack. You know, the
100%.
Yeah, that was cool.
The God Bomber armory style thing.
Yeah, it amazes me that there just never has been like a proper toy of this. The only toy of the full fire engine mode was one of those like those flip over things that you hold on your hand. Yeah, it turns into a gun that you literally hold in your hand.
And it's got Starscream.
Yeah. And they did a movie version as well, didn't they? Yeah. It was one of those, and that's the only toy that exists of the full fire engine Optimus.
Why?
It's mad, isn't it? And the thing is it's not like it was just one appearance in the cartoon either, because I think in my memory, I'd sort of got it stuck in there that he appeared once as a full fire engine at the start, and then he just loses the trailer, and that's it. But actually, no, the first season, he frequently pops up.
Yeah, it just keeps coming back. Yeah,
yeah. On a rewatch, I was like, oh, here he is again, then, just to taunt me. This thing that doesn't actually exist in toy form.
And there are so many Optimus toys as well, and it's like, why did we not get one of them with that trailer?
Yeah, totally. I'm actually looking at there's an image of that version standing next to Universe Prime. Didn't realize he was that wee, actually. So he's quite a little chap. And from memory, that's. God, what am I saying here? It's just basically I just buy the big versions of toys that I can get. I was
going to say, compared to the Supreme, he may be, but compared to other Voyagers, he's a decent size.
Yeah, no, totally. But he's like, it's a great figure because he's very like the posing of him. He's got a really nice silhouette. You know, the stance of him. It's like really, he's a nice big chunky boy, just really stoic as a kind of character and. Yeah, really nice. We'll have to pick up as it's a gap now.
Yeah,
inevitably.
Definitely, it's got a retractable mouth plate and all the kind of stuff that you would want it to have, which is really nice. It's just a very, very solid toy, and of all the animated toys I have, it's one of my favorites.
Is it quite a simple transformation? Is it like flip his legs back, turn it around, that kind of thing? Because that's what I love about animated though as well. It's not like it's not a test, you know, and you can do them from memory more often than not, and. I love that about. I think that's again something I really liked about the line, is that you would just pick one up, and before Deskbot became a thing, it was a constant Deskbot for me, where I'd have an animated on there because they were just easy to transform. They were just fun. You know, there was you had no fear of breaking it. When we, as you said earlier, had the likes of Masterpiece at the same time, which we approached with caution. Maybe sometimes these are great. So. Yeah.
Even some of the leaders are very easy to transform.
Yeah,
there is a feel to animated toys that's unlike almost anything else, like glossy plastic and the size of them. True. They're just massive and high articulated because, like, the Unicron trilogy stuff was all big, thick, shiny plastic, which is also great. But this had all the articulation to go with it, didn't it? It was like slender, but it still had that huge toy plastic that you really want.
Yeah.
They're just so dynamic in weird ways as well. Like, I think the fact that they're sort of almost semi-posed, even in a stoic pose, they look like they're sort of called to attention, you know?
Yeah.
And Optimus is a great example of that because he's sort of got that puffed out chest, slightly sort of tilted ankles, things like that just make him look very dynamic. It's not a boring looking toy. Even if you just posed it standing stoically on a shelf somewhere, it looks great.
Yeah, they do. He's got a real presence about him, which from a static plastic toy is like quite the thing, isn't it?
I would wholeheartedly recommend it, Jason, honestly.
I think that would be definitely a pickup for me as well. In contrast, not getting us away from Prime too quickly, but in contrast to that, though, talking about the kind of silhouette and pose, what about moving to Megatron?
What, the Cybertron one?
Is that the Voyager one?
That's the Voyager, and then you've got the Leader as his earthen vehicle mode, if you like.
So the Cybertron one, did that come as a deluxe as well?
It did, yeah.
It did.
It's weird, isn't it? Yeah,
I was going to say, because I had the pack of the two of them, Optimus and Megatron.
Yeah.
I remember them being deluxes, but because we keep talking about the Voyagers, I'm like, because it's normally when you get a Cybertron mode, it's normally one scale, then the rest of the others, aren't they?
I think it's so strange that they did two versions of Cybertron. Cybertron mode Megatron, and he literally appears for like one episode as well in that form in the cartoon, you know, and then he's blown up. So it's not like it was a big deal. But I think this toy and this design is interesting to me because it's so clearly Bayverse.
Yeah. So it's not my favourite on the line, if I'm honest. I quite like the alt mode. It's kind of fun. But the robot mode and his fusion cannon is massive. It's just like takes up a lot of that arm. His gun. It didn't quite work as well. The Megatron didn't work for me in the Leader either, though, if I can completely as well.
What?
Partly
really?
because you know what it was?
So you take that back.
Yeah, I was going to say.
So
you tell us what it was, Jason. Come on, you tell us.
It's his knock knees. That's what it was. He's got like little knock knees, so his knees come in a bit when he's standing.
They do a little bit.
And I just, so it's like he's kind of wet himself. He's just... He's had a little lubricant leak, and it just doesn't quite have the stance that Prime. You know, we were just saying a minute ago that Prime is there stoic and like ready for action, whereas Megatron just looks a bit scaredy. You know, that's all. And great alt mode.
The legs, the alt mode is incredible. I think the legs do curve in a little bit. You're not wrong.
Yeah.
I will grant you that. But I can't hear too much bad about this toy because I think it's incredible.
Nitpicking. You know, I'm nitpicking. I'll be
you
honest.
had to nitpick. What happened to positive Jason? Where's that gone?
Yeah.
Exactly.
What happened to everything is awesome?
Yeah. This is like, he's a baddie. He's a baddie. That's what it's.
This is the Jason after Kylie left him and he went off on his own and flopped, wasn't it?
Exactly.
Yeah. Jason doesn't like him because he's a mean machine.
Now you're scraping the barrel. Here we go.
Ouch. Wow. But yeah.
Throwing that one in there.
Jesus Christ. But yeah, Leader Megatron is an amazing toy, Jason. It's an enormous robot. I used to have it on my shelf in the living room when I used to live in an area of Norton Call Centre a long time ago. And it was such a wicked feature because you just press the button on his chest and he's like, ha, 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 crush the Autobots, find the Allspark, ha, ha, ha. And it's brilliant. And he also had like a mouth move as well, didn't it?
It did. Yeah.
But it's like the articulation is weirdly sort of limited until you sort of learn to work with it. It's one of those that
completely agree, yeah.
You can get good poses. It just takes a lot of working because it feels, so much of it feels like it's counterintuitive, like the way his arms because they've got that kind of weird curve to the way his arms sort of
curve inward a little bit.
They've got the gorilla kind of pose. Yeah, that's
it. But it makes it awkward to try and get poses out of them. But that toy is fantastic. It's got the big helicopter blades. And it's one of the best, for me, that's the best alt mode for Megatron that isn't a gun or a tank.
I completely agree.
So I agree with that. I love that alt mode. It's great. I love the massive swords. The fact the propellers become a massive sword.
2 of them as well.
Fusion cannon under the nose of the chopper.
Yeah, it's very cool. It does.
I love the way the blades spin. I love everything about that alternate mode. Even though his arms are slightly a bit visible, and it's fairly obvious that his feet are just kind of folded up into like this little flipper at the back. I don't care about any of that. I think it's stellar. Honestly,
yeah, that's cool. That's the toy. If you're a kid at that time when Animated came out, if you were like a little kid, say maybe 5 or 6, that's the toy you get, and you just like, whoa,
yeah,
this is amazing.
We watched the end of season 1 just the other day, and my boy, honestly, when Megatron came back online, gets reanimated by the Allspark and all of that, by the key. And suddenly he's like comes up and starts transforming and whatever. At the start of the next part, my little boy was honestly just like, "Oh my god!" He was just like so excited. He was literally glued to the screen, like, "What?" And then when he starts transforming and blades start popping out, he turned to me and just went, "Is he a helicopter?" And I was like, yes, he is. And he was just glued, honestly. And I love it.
And there are elements of Super Megatron here, aren't there, as well?
Yeah.
Like, into the design. Like,
yeah, they do,
when you look at it, that's what I always thought. Like, it's kind of like a stand-in for him, almost. But like, you look at like the way the propeller sort of wings pop out of his back, and like his whole head sculpt is very much that Super Megatron, isn't it?
Oh yeah, definitely. There's absolutely something about the head sculpt, about the sort of tall shoulders with the little red circles, all of that kind of stuff.
The little wings on the back as well.
Yeah, the wings on the back, exactly. Yeah, his head sculpt is cool. Within this line though, it's difficult to choose one that isn't cool because they're so styled, but I really he does have that kind of maniacal look about him that Megatron should have, which is really nice.
Ha ha ha.
Yeah, it's great. It's so good.
This was the toy. This was the toy for ages, and Liam will attest to this because he was with me at that TFN Minicon. This was the toy that for ages I just wanted. I was just like, I had to have one, and I ended up getting the Shadow Blade at last big TFN as well from Andy at Cabal, and I love that version as well. They're both just gorgeous. I mean, a black Megatron as well is like, I mean, that's something that we haven't had enough of over the years. I would say it's like it's a very rare thing to see
that's
done.
Good point.
Yeah,
and he's the character of all that lends himself to that more than
it's so mad,
isn't it?
Yeah, there is a black version of the G1, of course, but kind of, although not
stealth bomber.
Yeah. But it just works so well, honestly, and that repaint I just think is absolutely gorgeous with the kind of pink canopy and all of that. It does have that. I was trying
to remember because I couldn't remember if it was purple but it's the translucent pink. Is it that's on?
It's Do you know what I'm saying? It's pink. It's sort of a very reddy purpley pink.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm hedging my bets on the colour there a little bit. You know what I mean? But yeah, maybe not pink strictly. The only thing I don't like about the Shadow Blade repaint is the nose is red as well. It's got the sort of translucent red on the nose, and that looks a little bit comedic, I would say. But other than that, it's straight up fire. Honestly, it's just absolutely brilliant.
Man, that whole mold, like, I would love to, and again, if I ever have a bigger house, that's one I would go for straight away.
Yeah,
just multiple versions. Yeah.
Well, no, just it's such a big toy, and it would be nice to have.
Oh yeah, you don't have it yet.
Not anymore, but I do sometimes regret getting rid of it. But
it is
a good toy.
Yeah, it's really big. It's massive. Yeah, totally.
It's not defined like we were saying about the articulation. It's not the toy that's defined by its limitations. It's how you play with it. Like you get that with G1 where they might be limited, but it doesn't matter because they're fun to play with. And this is exactly one of those toys. But again, you can get some stunning poses out of it.
Yeah, I completely agree. I was surprised, actually, really surprised, because I'd often seen this thing posed and photographed very stoically, just sort of stood there with the knock knees, as you said, Jason. But actually, I found that, the arms, Liam, you said it, but it's a great example where actually, because you can twist the arms at the bicep, and you can twist the hands, so you can rotate the wrist. There's actually a lot that you can do with those arms to really kind of articulate them very nicely. And the legs are surprisingly articulated too. It's got a really good ankle tilt. So you can get him into some great poses, the head moves, everything you would kind of want it's just that because there's a sort of curvature to some of the joints, it does make it a little bit of a. It requires a bit of thought, definitely.
Yeah, it's getting the right angle, isn't it?
It's one of the downsides of the curved limbs.
Yeah.
That's it.
It's just the shape of the design, isn't it? Like the legs, like you say, the legs, the arms, the whole body is curved, and it makes it difficult to pose in a traditional way. Just takes a little
totally.
It just takes work.
You do need to be a bit more creative with it as well. But there are plenty of other figures in the line that do the same as well. That have because they've got big chunky kind of molded parts on these as well that are, and when you've got like that Megatron figure, as you said, Liam, is a big figure as well. So it does make it a bit more challenging. Which is why I'm kind of critiquing it there with just like, because I'm just looking at the photo that I took of mine, which was literally kind of like bird's eye view down, and it makes it look really bad because you can totally see the curve of his leg and stuff like that. Whereas you want to kind of play around with that a bit more. I'll tell you what I do love about it though as well. It's got one of the best firing mechanisms of any toy ever. The amount of times I've launched that missile.
Oh, you pull it, don't you?
Yeah, it just is so powerful. It's just like you just shatter a bulb. Yeah.
That sort of action. You know the action I'm talking about. You cock it.
That's
exactly.
what you do. You cock it.
You have to cock it, yeah.
Well, this is exactly what the Statham does. Yeah.
Cock it. Ha, ha, ha. God, just think about that toy. Look and hear it. Crush the Autobots.
So
you do it very well.
The thing with animated though as well is that across the board, like the electronics that they put into it, we didn't mention it in Bulkhead, but they went for it. They had there's a lot of flashy lights going on. Bulkhead in the leader one, even better when you put the headmaster on, and what was it? It says like ridiculous
ownage, total ownage or whatever, doesn't he? Yeah.
And it's just mad. It's just mad. And
my boy was not keen on the headmaster.
Oh, is he not?
He didn't like. He came back. We've just watched. Literally, the last episode we watched is the one where he comes back. And takes over Sentinel Prime, and when he reappeared, he went, "Oh, not this guy again." I was like, "Oh, do you not like him then?" And he just went, "No, he's not very nice." I was like, "Yeah, I agree with you." Yeah,
but what this line did though, it brought back things like headmasters, and it's not the traditional headmasters, but it's the first time we'd probably heard or seen headmasters. Was it on Omega Supreme, wasn't it? But he wasn't called a headmaster. But you have that, and then you have like triple changes and stuff. All that stuff comes back in, and
well, Blitzwing,
So worth a mention of Blitzwing. Because I enjoy all three modes of this toy very much, especially the plane, which is how it's displayed in its packaging as well.
So I really like the tank.
Yeah, they're great though. It's probably one of my favorite Blitzwings because again they're so characterful, a lot of play value in it as well. But not a tricky transformation between each as well, and you're doing the usual that you do with a triple changer and hiding wings and stuff like that. But it's really nice, really great figure as well.
It's got its compromises. It's not a perfect toy, but it's really, really good. And it's hard to not love it because it's sort of in spite of the things that it maybe doesn't quite nail, if that makes sense. It's there are some. I mean, I do find the arms a little bit weird in robot mode. It's got the kind of molded open fists, molded open hands.
The hands are quite small as well, aren't they?
Yeah,
they're quite
quite
small.
That bugs me a little bit. I would have just preferred fists, honestly. Like I don't like if you're going to have molded open hands. They're just sort of flat palms. I find that a bit hard to kind of cope with just because I can never get them to look how I want them to in any kind of stance, really. It's a bit of an awkward one. But that aside, I mean, all three modes are impressive on this guy and look really, really good. There's a little bit of kibble on like the jet and things, but it's all forgivable, really.
Is it Blitzwing that has the face that you can turn as well, can't you?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Which is really cool. And I remember...
Triple Takeover face.
It's just the best.
True.
Yeah.
Tag yourself, yeah.
Totally. We need to... That's it. Choose a face. And has one of them got a monocle? That's what I always thought whenever I looked at it.
One's got a monocle. One's got a big chin. And the other's the kind of itsy bitsy spider face.
Yeah.
The crazy face.
Great. Just again, that's brilliant. I love that. They did need to. also more firing mechanism in this one as well. I think it's just like a kind of push kind of projectile that's in these ones.
Yeah, I think they kind of fold round, don't they? And then they've got little missile launchers on them.
Yeah,
so, I actually find the transformation on this, it's not difficult, but I do find it confusing. Like, it's one that takes me a minute, of like, where do the wings slide and things like that.
Unintuitive.
Yeah, a little bit. That's not an unfair assessment. It's one of those that always gives me a little pause of like, particularly going from the plane to the tank. I think getting to robot mode is easy.
Yeah, totally. Again, it was one of those ones that was just on my desk for probably like a good 6 months that I would just pick up and just kept kind of mucking around with it and fiddling with it, and just a really nice figure. I need to pick these up again. They're just a joy. Yeah.
Those open hands do look a bit like, hey, what am I doing, guys?
They're like 18 hands.
I'm here.
18 figure hands.
It just kills it slightly for me. I'm not going to lie. Like, I love the toy, don't get me wrong, and I'm not going to complain about it too much, but it's just like, why do that? Do you know what I mean? I don't like it.
Do you not think it looks like he's just wearing really big, long, black kind of rubber gloves that a vet would wear? It just looks a bit long.
Maybe.
For birthing a calf. That's what it is.
What?
Wow.
I was going to say Google it later, but don't.
No, I'm not going to Google
but
that. What are you on about?
That's what you need. This is goes all the way up to your shoulder.
God, Jason. You're a real wild card here, aren't you?
I know. I lived on a farm for a while. I saw everything.
Wild man. The wild man of Scotland.
It's happening everywhere. Highland cows being born everywhere by Blitzwing.
Are you like a all creatures great and small over there?
Yeah, not anymore. Not now.
TV vet.
Do you know what I think it is with the hands? I'm looking at it, and his animation model, he has open hands, and I swear they just did it to match the animation model, because it's honestly dead on. Like the pose and everything, he just has his hands down to the side like that.
Yeah.
And if I didn't know better, I'd swear that when they sculpted it or designed it, they were just like, well, let's do it like that.
That's exactly how it looks.
Yeah, I appreciate what they were going for in that regard, but I just it does. It's a mark off for me on this toy, which is a shame, because so much about it otherwise is brilliant. I mean, it's just looks fantastic apart from the hands, and the head sculpts. All three of them are brilliant.
Yeah,
there's just a lot to admire here overall.
It's a funny thing, hands on Transformers, because it's not something you really think about until they get it wrong.
Yeah,
and then
it's true.
It just stands out as awkward, because obviously there's such a thing you look for in people and expressions and moments, isn't it? But with toys, they're almost always clenched fists to get out of any of these problems and to be more appropriate for as many situations as possible. But and so when they do it open, it's like you're expecting it to do something else, like to hold something, or
exactly.
It's almost like they've posed it for you in a way you didn't want. Almost, it's like pre-posed.
I think that's it. I think if you're not going to have posable hands and be able to manipulate the fingers, closed fist is just preferable, because it's neutral then in a weird way.
Exactly.
Yeah,
and it works.
Just kind of forget it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
it's like it's equivalent to sometimes when they're given facial expressions, and every now and again you're like, that's perfect. Like, say, the laughing face on a Masterpiece Megatron, but then when they do it on a character whose face where you can't change it, and it's like a smirk that doesn't look right or something like that, or they've got like a wide open mouth, and you're like, just gone with a neutral expression.
Yeah, I completely agree. There are, there's a few animated toys that have got crazy expressions and things as well, which are, in some cases, kind of maybe a little bit on the nose, but I think by and large they work really well. I mean, I think the expressions and stuff in animated, the line sort of lends itself to it in a way.
It does. That's what I mean. It's when it works in a situation with certain characters and certain designs, but it's then when they do it that others like I say, sometimes you get like a screaming face on the character, and you're like, but why? This just now they're just always screaming, and it just looks sort of really odd. And
so one of the figures that I think has just the best face is the Voyager Starscream. He's got just a massive chin, and this just like it's just perfect Starscream, isn't it? It looks so
one
good.
of the best versions of Starscream.
Yeah, it looks great.
Now I know people that really don't like this toy, which I always find Yeah, I find it such a surprise because I dig it big time. I love this toy.
I love the backward wings going on in jet mode.
Yeah,
and
the swept back wings are brilliant.
Yeah, he just looks cool. That's my Starscream.
Completely agree. I think, and it's a great interpretation of the animation model as well.
Yeah.
And he's absolutely the star of one of the best episodes of any Transformers cartoon ever. That one where he keeps getting killed by Megatron. It's like
one
of the best episodes of a cartoon I've ever seen, and it's just fantastic. Just like the montage where he just instantly comes back to life and Megatron kills him. But the toy is cool, man. Like that design. I remember the first time I saw it, and I loved it because it just looked futuristic and strange, but in a way that I love futuristic sort of jets and stuff, and it's just nice to see him not as a F-15 or a Raptor or whatever, man. Just a cool looking weird jet for once.
You're right about this. The swept-back wings. It just adds so much. I also really appreciate the color scheme on this thing. The fact that he's like a really warm grey blue, I think, is really nice. The red is a little darker than normal.
Even those black accents that they put into it as well.
It's great.
It's really nice. Yeah. Really nice.
I do wish that the colour was slightly more cartoon accurate with the red, I will say, because I really like the sort of dark, sort of almost burgundy that he's rocking in the cartoon.
The maroon,
kind of, maroony sort of, I'm just going to name colours. Pink, just going to throw that in there as well. Cover all bases.
Cover all bases, exactly.
Exactly. But I really love that specific shade in the cartoon, and the toy looks excellent, but it's not quite a match in that regard, but still it's incredible.
Oh, he's got open hands and all, doesn't he?
He does, but actually...
He does, so he gets away with it.
These ones work better for me.
Yeah, because they're more like Blitzwing's hands are just a bit... they just look like rubber gloves, whereas these are more claw-like.
For birthing a cow.
For birthing a calf, exactly.
That image is not going away anytime soon. You've ruined the toy.
He's not got birthing hips, Jason.
Starscream's taking his gloves off.
You've forever ruined Blitzwing for me.
He's got fingerless gloves, hasn't he? Yeah.
He does have fingerless gloves. Yeah, don't put Blitzwing anywhere near your Beast Wars figures. That's what.
There's a photo shoot. Yeah, good.
Yeah, exactly. But the Starscream has that really cool kind of collapsible nose as well, doesn't it? It's is it a spring kind of thing as well that it does when it collapses as you bring the wings over?
It does. Yeah, the whole nose cone flip round and then sort of the way it truncates is really quite satisfying.
Nice.
I mean, the only thing with it is that clipping it all together is a little bit like, it's a bit hair raising the first time. You're kind of like, you've really got to trust what you're doing, and once you know the toy, you're fine. But I recall it very vividly the first time being like, I'm not sure about this, but it's fine.
I think mine actually might be a bit scraped on the nose, if memory serves, because I've mucked around with it so much. It's got the flip over missile launchers as well, which are kind of fun.
Does.
But they fire, those missiles go poo in seconds and they're gone. Yeah.
They're a little bit awkward to pose because they kind of jut off at the elbow almost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're a bit weird because like in when they're folded up, they sort of fold up from the elbow, and when they're folded down, they're hard to pose in a way that looks natural.
Like natural,
I think.
Yeah.
They feel like they needed to be like just a few millimeters further back.
Yeah, totally. That's valid.
I love the like when you look at the legs. There's just the G1 Seeker legs.
Yeah.
Like when you look at the shins, it's even got that little detail on the sort of on the shin, and then the feet are that classic G1 Seeker feet, aren't they?
Yeah,
it's just all those little nods in there.
Yeah, he's even got the slight sort of almost curve in the leg from the Bayformers version. Dare I say? It's, I don't want to. Obviously, it's an interpretation of the animation model in this case, or kind of cross collaboration of anyway. But on the toy, when I got it in hand, I was really like, there's definitely a feeling of that kind of Dorito mold to this a little bit as well.
Yeah,
squash Dorito.
Yeah, which is weird to say, but
because I mean, this would have predated that, wouldn't it?
Well, it would have been. Well,
I mean, the same sort of time.
Yeah, same time.
But...
Yeah. And you think about how long that movie version would have been in development as well. I don't know. I can't help but feel that some of that
it was the Megatron
influence.
Like when you look at the Cybertronian Megatron, that one looks so evocative of the movie. Yeah,
it's just obvious, absolutely. So I can't help but feel that some of the Bayformers nods may have worked their way in here. And, in this case, it may be nothing, but it's just, for me, it gave me that feeling. That was all.
Do not besmirch this Starscream.
I was going to say, people will be listening to this like, no, absolutely not.
It's nothing like that weird chicken leg monstrosity.
I like that monstrosity, so,
I have one on my shelf, actually, up there. I like it. So
I like it. It's different. It's cool.
I've grown to like it.
I get it. It's not classic Starscream, but it's, it's its own thing.
It looks like a Dorito that's been run over, eaten by a badger, then regurgitated onto the side of the road. That's what robot mode looks like.
God, you're all coming out with the most vivid imagery tonight. What's going on?
It's like a Scottish thing, isn't it?
It's like that squash badger that I saw on my motorbike ride.
Oh, man.
There we go, see? It's that Starscream.
It's a beast.
It's that movie Starscream.
Yeah, exactly.
Revenge of the Four.
Some good repaints on this, I will say. The Skywarp is brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
I don't have the Sunstorm.
No,
do you have that one, Jason?
No, I don't. I would like to pick that up. Actually, I would like to pick.
Do you have the Skywarp?
No, I've only got Starscream as the.
Skywarp's definite recommend.
Does that mean I'm missing? Oh, maybe am I missing more than I thought on Voyagers? Oh no, this is getting full on enablement, isn't it?
Get your database going, man.
Yeah, I know. So I've got 8 Voyagers. Yeah.
I think obviously the elephant in the room is Thundercracker that was never officially released. Although again, some people, Piog, had this in hand at the time.
It was on eBay, wasn't it?
Yeah,
there were copies. I remember them going around. You could buy it from eBay,
really,
if you looked at the right time.
Yeah, I think I've heard anyway that at one point it was not that bad in terms of price, but now obviously it's going to be silly money.
Because with Seekers as well, they're the same. Be nice to have them, but I never really thought about that I'm missing. There was other figures from the line, and it was mainly the Takara Tomy ones that I then started to get into.
I think in this case, it's the fact that you've got 2 of the 3 of the classic trios. So you've got Starscream and Skywarp, but not Thundercracker. And I think in a way, I think if it had been Sunstorm that was seen but not released, people wouldn't care as much. It would be like, oh well, that's a shame that didn't happen, but hey ho. Whereas the fact that it's one of the trio, the classic trinity, is kind of I don't know. It's that feeling of incompleteness, isn't it? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Sunstorm came with the was it the activator ratchet?
The little ratchet.
Yeah, that's right.
I would like to get one. But I have a custom Thundercracker, which is really nice.
Oh, really?
Done by
John.
Yeah, done by our mate John.
Cool.
And he was doing that. It's weird that it's now up in your possession.
Yeah, it's great. Honestly, it's so good. Really nicely done. Really nicely done. And when I posted it online, a lot of people were like, "What? Where did you get this?
Where did you buy this?" Yeah,
yeah. And I was like, "No, it's a custom, but just a very good one."
That's cool.
But yeah,
he's good as John. Love you, John.
Yeah, very good, very good. And I have seen many a custom of this mold because, of course, you've got like Ramjet and all the various versions that are in the cartoon as well. That people have kind of customized this thing into, so sort of lends itself to it, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's cool. Actually, I like that. There's another figure that I'm going to jump back to Leader, but
you're following the leaders, Jason.
Oh, wait. That's not a Jason Statham, is it? That can't be.
No.
My knowledge of Jason Statham. It's not a Jason Statham movie. Follow my leader.
You can say anything now. Yeah,
I know. I'm
just say words.
No, yeah.
After this finishes, he's going to get off in the morning and he's going to talk to his kid. And his kid's just going to say something like, "Oh, what are we having for breakfast?" He's like, "Is that a Jason Statham film?"
Exactly. Yeah, I'll be so confused.
Can you pass the milk? What did you say?
What? No.
It's can you pass the milk, governor?
Yeah.
Dude, but it is a New Yorker, obviously. It's the Leader class Ultra Magnus. That was
what a toy.
This is probably one of my favorite toys, Transformer toys ever. I
really
enjoy this toy so much. I'm a sucker for Ultra Magnus at the best of time, but I really enjoy this toy for how in his like robot mode and just his massive shoulder pads, and his big kind of surface-to-air missiles. He's got the moving mouth going on as well. He's got a ton of gimmicks that are just a lot of fun. He's got a big smashy hammer.
Hammer time.
Yeah, and he can wear the headmaster. The Bulkhead's doesn't do anything, but he can wear it.
He can. I've never tried that actually. I must give that a go.
Yeah, it's it just kind of it does clip, but it kind of more sits there as well. But it's all the little pop up weapons he's got on him, and and the robot and alt mode are both. I just really like them. Really like them as a figure.
This toy has about as many pop up weapons as like anything does in Transformers outside of G1 Fortress Maximus. Honestly, it's got two different sets of pop-up cannons in the shoulders and like backpack area alone. I mean, that's ridiculous. The fact that those two sets also then pop out in the vehicle mode, and there's then a separate further set of guns that pop out of his like bumper area as well.
That's right. Yeah,
it's like, what is going on there? Honestly, he's just an absolute tank.
He is exactly. That's what you want from Ultra Magnus, isn't it? It's just like, and I remember when I was playing with it, and it was just like, oh, this bit comes out. Oh, and this bit comes out, and it was it was so much fun. A lot of flashy lights and stuff as well.
Yeah, he does.
Do you know why they gave him all of these gimmicks?
Why?
So he could deal with it.
See, set you up, you know.
He could deal with it now. Yeah.
Now.
This was the one actually. Watching particularly the first episode of season 2, this was the one that had my boy just captured immediately, even more than Megatron, which surprised me. But we were watching the episode. He had so many questions about Ultra Magnus. Just immediately, my favorite was, "Daddy, so is he like Optimus Prime's boss?" I was like, "Yeah, he is actually, yeah." And that prompted so many questions because it was like, so is Optimus Prime not the leader of all the Autobots? It's like, well, no, mate, no, he's just this little gang, you know. But because bless him, he spends half his time watching the show and the other half asking me questions, and I'm like, if you watch,
parenting,
you'll find out. Oh
totally.
man, constant conversation about if you watch this scene, you'll know what's happening, and then you don't need to ask me, you know, all the time. But yeah, he really likes Ultra Magnus. So when we came upstairs to bed, I said to him, look, if you brush your teeth, no fuss, and all of that, and do a really nice job of getting ready for bed, I might have a little surprise for you. And he was like instantly like, brush, like pajamas on, all of this.
Yeah.
And then I just kind of came out of my office and was like, here you go. And he was like, I think it's Ultra Magnus, isn't it? And I was like, yeah, it is. And he just loved it. And we had a little play for a good little while before bed. And he was like, every gun that popped out and everything, he was just like, oh my God. And the hammer and all of that. He loved it.
Absolutely. So, you know, I'm just reading here about, because I remember finding these really funny, the phrases that he's got.
Yeah.
Each of them, it's like, don't be a hero, Optimus. It's not in your programming. He's just getting quite sassy, isn't he? He's just like, and then Ultra Magnus here, and we must return the Allspark to Cybertron. You know, he's just quite bossy. You know, it's really
he's the boss. He's the boss.
Brilliant. I love it. Love it. Absolutely love it.
I always really liked this role for Ultra Magnus. I like that they switched it round. You know, because obviously Optimus was not the leader.
Yeah.
And I always thought it worked really well. But I think in terms of a modernization of the classic Magnus look, this is pretty perfect.
Yeah, I would agree. I think he's just really, really solid looking. Such a great alt mode. I'm just looking at the imagery here. As you said about the, I forgot the mega cannons came out like that as well.
Oh, yeah. There's a lot. Yeah, there's a lot.
So nice.
The transformations are pretty simple, actually, surprisingly so. But there are a couple of bits that, don't you? Yeah, there are a couple of bits that do give me pause, like the way the shoulders are kind of on a double hinge.
The double hinge, out. Yeah, to get them in position. Yeah.
That's a pain. But totally. Overall, it's a really good fun toy. Do you have the repaint of this, Jason?
No. So the Roadbuster. So this is a funny one actually, because I enjoyed the Ultra Magnus so much, and I remember the Roadbuster came out, and I think most likely it's a long time ago now, but most likely I wouldn't have picked up the Roadbuster because it would have been like, I could get that, or I could go and get this other figure that I don't have a version of. It's probably
it's very much like that. Yeah.
That thing. I think because I was really happy with Ultra Magnus as he was in his kind of Ultra Magnus colors, and I was happy to keep it as that.
So did you have that first then? Because we didn't get regular colours Ultra Magnus here, did we? We got the Roadbuster version.
Is that right?
Everywhere. Yeah, from memory, I'm sure we didn't get the regular colours one. That's why if you go to sell one here, it goes dead fast. It was always Roadbuster colours Ultra Magnus was in the Entertainer for years, and I remember being quite annoyed
remember that,
because I would see it constantly, and it was like it was cool to see the Roadbuster deco, but I was like, I want the blue one, and I've never owned it as a result because it wasn't available.
I think I got mine. I got mine in Toys R Us.
The blue one.
The blue one, yeah.
I thought that wasn't available here. I thought it was only the.
I can't remember when. I can't remember. Yeah, what I do remember is there was always a lot more deluxes than there were Voyagers and stuff like that, and I think that purely came down to cost for, as we've talked about before, for parents and things like that. But yeah, it was an end of the aisle. Actually, I just remembered, Liam. There was a Ultra Magnus at the end of the aisle, so they had like all these, and then I just walked around the corner, and it was just sitting there. I didn't realize it was actually that uncommon.
The Roadbuster one is such an oddity because, I mean, it's an obvious homage to the classic character Roadbuster, but the colours are really nice. I like all of that, but then it's just got a blue head. It's just like orange and green and blue hip flaps randomly, and it just doesn't quite gel for me. It's a bit like, what? Why not recolor the head as well? I don't know. At least to kind of give it that completely different feel, you know.
It's like he's just changed his clothes, you know.
Yeah,
it's just Ultra Magnus in the old clothes. He's even the hammer. You know, the hammer was changed ever so slightly. So,
but it's still got the blue translucent plastic, which I'm not sure works either. Yeah. So I don't know. To me, even, you know, people like our mate Dan, who's like a big animated aficionado and is like working on getting all the various, you know, he's even just picked up like a lucky draw and things like this. And so he's really going for it, you know, in terms of his collection. I remember when he got this, and even he was a bit like, yeah, it's a box ticked, you know. I think everyone sort of has that feeling about this repaint, and I'm sure there'll be that one fan who is listening to this going, "No, I love that thing," and that's fine. Like, I acknowledge that person, and that's all good. But I don't know. I just can't see, for me anyway, ever wanting this, as you said, Jason, over something like a Shadowblade Megatron or something like that.
Yeah, that's it. That's what it came down to. Yeah, totally.
So I just googled it. And there are quite a few posts from people talking about how animated Ultra Magnus wasn't released in the UK. The Roadbuster version. So maybe you'll tell us.
Maybe I'm remembering wrong then. I'm trying to think.
If it was later on, maybe there was some random stuff that appeared later. I do recall at the time, I remember like all the forums everywhere, people were like, why are we not getting?
I wonder if I got it as a gift. There's a good chance that I got it as a gift from someone as well. There'll be a photograph. That's a trail I can go and find out, you know.
Yeah, well, maybe it may have been released later on. Then maybe it popped up somewhere in some places.
It's funny with these things, though, isn't it? Because there's like figures. So, like you two getting the Armada Prime that we were talking about previously.
Mm-hmm. Oh yes,
yeah. So there is one of those left in my local Smiths on the shelf. Me and my partner went in the other day, and it's at that point after Christmas where I dropped her the subtle hints, you know, but she just wanted to look at dinosaurs. But
also amazing.
The entire aisles were all just empty. They were just doing a restock, so all the Lego was gone, and there was just a few boxes. But the Transformers were down to like, you know, a couple of RC figures, and there was that one, and I was like, £92. I was kind of been holding out for it going to discount.
Not sure it's going to really.
Not now.
Yeah,
that's it.
It's going to be gone.
Now. You two have talked about
exactly.
it. That's it.
Everybody's just raving about it. It's topped most. Well, certainly a lot of people's best of last year list.
I noticed that as well. Yeah, I mention it because it is those figures, isn't it? That like kind of we pass up on. You have to.
Yeah.
You kind of make those choices, and it's just like, and it's interesting as well. The fact that Ultra Magnus, wasn't on the shelves.
Yeah, I think now for me, I mean, this is not a hard toy to acquire, the Roadbuster version, but even now, I mean, I'm looking, and to get a boxed one, it's not expensive, but it's just I don't know. It's more than I realistically want to pay for such a kind of weird.
For a weird color.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I love weird recolors. That's the thing. Like, I'm all about weird repaints, but there's just something about this one that doesn't quite click for me somehow. So
it was in the Entertainer for years.
Yeah. Going back then to, because we've only got Voyagers left now, but of course we've got some amazing ones left to cover. One of my favourites, and one of my favourite animated toys of all, is Shockwave.
Yes.
Yes. We spoke about that.
Yeah.
This is it.
What?
This was the hidden
When was
gem.
That? Hidden Gems.
Yeah. This was the hidden gem. That and the Activator's Bumblebee, which of course you get in a 2-pack with the purple Shockwave. And I got this for my birthday actually last year. Both the purple and the grey versions from Liam, you and a bunch of our mates clubbed together for this. And I was amazed, honestly, because I've been looking for these for ages. And again, it's one of those, they're not hard to find necessarily, but getting them at a decent price is the trick, isn't it? Because you can massively overpay. And I've had people since saying to me, "Oh my God, that is this amount of money or whatever." I'm like, well, no, because I know the budget that we have for each other's birthdays. So, but 2 incredible versions of this, and I'm so pleased that they did the grey and the purple version in toy form.
Yeah, so I've got the purple version with the Activator Bumblebee, which is probably one of my. I know we're not talking about activators, but just now, but
it's amazing.
I love that toy. It's just ridiculous fun. It's more like a fidget spinner more than anything else. But that purple Shockwave, the colors, the vibrance of that red single eye, so good. The 4 different modes of him as well. Oh, amazing.
It's just
amazing.
It's the fact that none of the modes, it doesn't give anything away, does it? About like the secret mode, for example, like, you know, the fact that you can transform it from one robot mode to another, and it's surprisingly involved how much it goes through to get to that, through that process, if you like even little things in his shoulder pads changing, the whole silhouette changes, things like the hips move. The way the shoulders reposition.
It's great.
It's incredible. Honestly, it's so well thought through.
The flip around faction as well, logo. It's
little touches. And this is where you can really see that it was the animators working with the toy designers in tandem to kind of deliver this. You know, you can tell that because the way that he transforms in the show from one form to another is so spot. It's absolutely bob on to the toy. Yeah. So it is clearly evident that they had a big hand in that as well.
Yeah, it was that thing about that I wanted to mention. You've already said, but the shoulders, and that is really satisfying. Just doing the little clip, and it just, again, the thing about animated figures, and it's when you look at their silhouette, he becomes a completely different character. That's the whole point. But it's like it's such great design for a toy, and talking about hands again as well.
Oh, freaky.
He's got the best. He's got these like claw pincer things going on. That cannon that he's got is just really satisfying. Does a little flick out, doesn't it?
It does. It's so cool the way even that transforms from the long arm crane to his cannon and things like that. It's great.
Yeah, I was really surprised about this figure, to be honest. Really
this is one if I see it at Mini TFN in Manchester, I might pick it up.
Oh, mate.
Yeah, definitely.
Essential.
It's one I've always I like the sort of Cybertronian alt modes, when they're kind of just like weird sort of tank treaded strange things.
Yeah.
And they're kind of like that. Like I would love to get the Ironhide, of the Cybertron.
Yeah, that's a cool toy.
I'd like to get that. Yeah, I don't have that.
Always wanted that.
That's a super cool toy. And this one, of course, has 2 alt modes technically, although, they're sort of, one is kind of the other one stood up a little bit, basically, but still,
it's still fun though.
It's still really good fun. It still looks distinct. That's the thing.
It does. It gives me a bit of a Optimus Prime in early comic book vibes. With this kind of like cannon kind of firing thing that's going on.
The whole design of this, I just think, is superb. Like, again, I know I said it about Magnus, but if you're going to take legacy character like Shockwave and update it into kind of modern form, this is how you do that, because it's hugely respectful to what came before it, even down to little things like the detailing on the chest. is evocative of the kind of classic translucent chest plate that the old toy has got. But it's not a 1-for-1. That's the thing. It works so well. And same with like his head sculpt. You know, it's got the ears that the old toy has, but now they look more like antlers almost. So it has its own personality and it feels hugely distinct in its own right. But you look at it and you know what it is. And that to me is brilliant design.
Do you know, I'm just looking at an image here of I've got the box and it's when I bought it and there's still cable tied into the box when I took the photo. But one thing that is worth mentioning as well is the packaging for the animated figures.
Oh, so nice.
Is some of my favorite packaging. But I think what I love most about it is the fact that they show the animated character in a really dynamic pose below the toy figure. And you can see how closely, as we've been talking about throughout this entire episode, how closely they align to that synergy again that we were talking about. But it's great. There's the image of Shockwave on the front of that box is just really cool.
There's a lot about the animated packaging that really heavily reminds me of, again, classic G1. I mean, it's the fact that the toys typically, not the leaders, but otherwise are typically packaged in alt mode with a picture of the robot mode, you know, drawing on the front, I think is a big thing. It's really consistent, the packaging, which I love. You know, there's a lot of space given to it as well as a lot of kind of extra space that really kind of makes it feel like an event. I mean, Shockwave is a good example because the box is way bigger than the toy.
Yeah, it's a big window to show off Shockwave and Bumblebee in that double set as well.
Yeah, and it's mad. Absolutely mad. But it's just such lovely packaging. Absolute bugger to open, but yeah.
Totally, yeah. So just going back to what we were talking about hands earlier and when they work and when they don't work, this guy, he doesn't actually have hands, but it works so well, and it's Lugnut, or in the case of the one that I've got Atomic Lugnut. He's just got these massive big cylinders for hands that are just ridiculous.
Is such a great design, yeah.
It is a great design. Single eye again. So, yeah, the Atomic Lugnut has got like those accents of like the kind of bright green and the kind of chevron and radioactive signs and a more kind of metallic-y blue to him as well.
Yeah, based off a real-world plane, I think, isn't
That's
it?
right.
Or kind of,
yeah, it's like a classic, isn't it? But like we talked about in the lockdown minisode about how he was like the breakout character from animated, but Lugnut's close behind, isn't he?
Oh, yeah.
Totally.
People love Lugnut.
Yeah.
And that toy is great. And like he got a toy in, do you remember Universe as well?
Yeah,
he did. Yeah,
it was Universe, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
And
Universe,
that was fantastic.
It's great.
He just gets good times, but he doesn't get many.
No, so I've got the Universe one, and I've got this the animated one as well. But you're right, he doesn't. He's few and far between. But a great alt mold. It's just like such a again chunky boy, really nice,
a real classic.
Yeah, his I like the fact his weapon becomes like the back part of the bomber as well.
Yeah, it's quite a sizable part of the jet, isn't it? This is another one, though, that I will say I wish was bigger. Like, it would be difficult because of the size of the jet mode, but the robot mode sort of shrinks down a little bit almost and just looks a bit too wee for my liking. That's my only complaint.
I like how I just really like the fact that he's just massive up top and got these wee legs just supporting him. I just think that's really fun. And the transformation is kind of fun as well because the cockpit splits open to kind of wrap around to form the chest piece.
Yeah,
really nice on that chest. Really nice use of like clear plastic and things with the kind of the little mini windows and things like that. That's super cool.
That is cool, actually.
Yeah, this is actually one I don't own, so I don't have either version of this, but it's absolutely on my hit list. It's one that I have to get eventually.
It's a stunning toy. The colours as well. It's that late era G1 colours, with the teal and the purple, the way those colours go together. That's what it always reminds me of, is the kind of later era G1. But it's just a really cool looking robot design, and obviously in the show he's brilliant.
Oh, he's just incredible.
Yeah, he's great.
A really memorable presence. This was one actually that my boy thought was Shockwave, because obviously we hadn't seen Shockwave at this point. So when he turned up, he was like, "Is that Shockwave?" And I was like, "No." But
you can see why, though, can't you?
Yeah, you totally can. It does have a nod. Yeah,
one main eye and then them little tiny insecty ones around it. It's very purple. doesn't have a real hand.
Yeah,
it works. It works really well.
He's
also
got his
has
big fist, doesn't he? His big punch.
That's right. He's got a really nice gimmick on the weapon as well. It's got a little tiny button on the bottom, so if you put it down on the ground or on a table or whatever, it'll just pop open either side. So it does a little release on there,
like a pressure thing.
Yeah, it's really fun. It's really nice.
This is one I have to get. I've looked at this so many times. I think it was at TFN one year, and I think it was one of those where I was like, if that's still here when I circle back, I'll get it. And then, of course, it wasn't. I should have just got it, you know.
So which one, the atomic or the
regular? Yeah,
the regular.
I would go for. I would. I mean, look, I love the look of the atomic one as well. So never say never. But I would want the show colors one. I think predominantly.
He has to get a legacy toy. Like, he's so popular, and it's been so long since he had a toy.
I would love it if he did, actually. Yeah,
I would be surprised if not, honestly. I think so many of these are ripe for legacy reinterpretations now. And it's what we said at the start, you know, that a lot of these toys are 16, 17 years old. So, you know, they're not, although you can get all of them really quite easily, there are very few toys here that we've talked about tonight that are in any way kind of rare or hard to come across. I understand why. I think we're kind of reaching that point now where a lot of people are not really looking to the past in the same way. And I get that a lot of, with the current line sort of pandering so much to us, it makes sense that people would want to see them with new articulation, new design features, whatever it may be. Yeah. And I'm sure there will be people that are hoping for a larger Lugnut toy as well, to kind of see it done at a slightly bigger scale.
Yeah, because it's worth mentioning as well, a lot of these figures, particularly the leader ones, well, it was the leader ones, didn't they, that had the electronics in it, you know, so that would make certain design choices, you know, you got to get wiring, batteries, all that, you know, it changes what you can do with it. So if you remove all that, what do we get? And it's worth mentioning as well that with animated, we got new characters, we got reinventions of characters, and we got other lines, as I said at the beginning, like Waspinator. It's pretty rare, isn't it, that you get a line that kind of crosses all that different and picking and choosing some of the best.
Did something new with all of it as well, and I think, you know, just to kind of wrap up, I think that's the bit that I love about this show, is that as much as it is, and this line, as much as it is a homage to stuff, and it brings back bits of Beast Wars, bits of G1, you know, bits of everything, I just love the fact that it did new stuff. You know, Lugnut is a new character. Bulkhead is a new character that had never been seen before. Lockdown, that we talked about in the minisode, you know, the first time that character had been done. And there's a reason that these characters have existed in other forms of Transformers media since, because of how well done they were.
They're characters as well. They are actual characters. Like, you look at like the Unicron trilogy characters, they're brought in. It's very G1, and they're brought in for like an episode, and then they're in the background again. You know, it's like this toy. Whereas in animated, these characters, they tend to get more.
They have a personality,
and they're really fleshed out, and you can tell there's a lot more to them. And the toys of them are brilliant. And there's this wicked crossover in the way the toys, they look like the cartoon, but they also look like toys. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like Unicron trilogy stuff, it's very toyetic, but like in animated, it's weird seeing it animated so well, and it fits so perfectly on the screen, but then fits so perfectly in your hand at the same time. It doesn't lose that. It translates really well. It kind of just has that energy of fun. Like, this is a toy to play with, and it's a very unique thing it does. I think.
It is.
Completely agree. Well, I think it's going to about do it for our animated discussion for tonight. And look, I'm well aware, and I know we're all well aware, that there's plenty more to be said on this topic. So it's absolutely one that we're going to revisit in the future. Now, the keen-eared of you, see what I did there, might have noticed that there are some toys that we have not mentioned That's by design, because we haven't talked about Grimlock, for starters. We're actually going to come back and do a whole mini-sode on the animated Dinobots at some point. And we also haven't talked about Retgar, and we are going to do a very specific mini-sode on him at some point as well, just like we've done about animated Lockdown, because that character and everything it does is just worth a bit of focus, and I think it would just kind of get lost in the shuffle a little bit here. So you can expect some spin-off minisodes on those on the way before too long. And I'm sure we'll come back and do something on some of the Takara Tomy toys as well at some point. And of course, you've got Blackout in there as another Voyager, so absolutely look out for that. But in terms of our Patreon content, it's worth talking about because, of course, we do have a Patreon, and you want to get yourself on there is what we keep saying, because there's all this good stuff that you're missing out on. I think the regular episodes are cool, but you're only really getting like not even half the conversation, I would say, because we have 5 glorious tiers. You can sign up today as an apologetic rant, just to pay us £1 a month, and it just helps to support the podcast. Or you can be a man in pig and get access to early episodes. So you could be listening to this up to and over a week early, which is pretty exciting. Or you can be an inner beast and get on our Discord, which is the place to be. As I always say, it's popping, absolutely popping.
Beatnik Sixo is back. There
There he is.
Pop in down at the malt shop.
Yeah, indeed. Popping mad.
Something that Jason Statham would say, that's what that is.
It does sound a bit like that, doesn't it? So, yeah. If he's not stuck in a trench somewhere.
Lock popping 2 smoking barrels.
Hey, yes.
Very good, Liam. Excellent. Or you can sign up as a Sixo's butler and get access to all the minisodes that we're talking about. So we're going to be talking about Retgar. We're going to be talking about the Dinobots. We've already talked about Lockdown. If you want to hear that, you've got to sign up as a Sixo's butler. Or you can be a Goldbox Classic, Goldbox Classic, and you get all that stuff, and then you get fortnightly mini-series as well. Mini-series, on ongoing topics, including we've got Tatman, we've got IDW, we've got Jason's series on Titan's Return, and you've got Skybound as well, all of which is pretty cracking stuff. And why wouldn't you want all of that? And of course, another perk of our Patreon is that you get to ask us some questions as well. This is kind of a new thing that we're doing, isn't it?
Indeed, it is. So we've got 2 questions this week. I'm going to kick off.
Is that
the
new
guys.
part of it? It's gone from 1 to 2.
Yeah, exactly. We're just reducing them down.
All different.
Yeah, all
100% more questions.
Hey, it's something, okay?
Next
week. It's a thing.
We're trying this new experiment, dude.
Yeah.
Hey, man, we're trying to get people into it here.
You know, before we dive into the questions, though, let's give a shout out to Hayden Maw, who is our new inner beast, who's signed up as well. So welcome,
inner
Hayden.
Beast.
Good to have you with us. Yes,
indeed. Thank you for signing up.
Cheers for joining us for this brand new experiment.
Exactly.
Segment.
So, gents,
it's all new. It's brand new.
all new.
All new. Just 2 questions. So here we go.
I should have called it a question crisis. It'd be like a DC event. You know, it's all new. Everything's rebooting.
Yeah. Reboot this question.
The new 52, but cross out the 5.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. It. Yes. Right, you ready for the question? Here we go.
Yeah, please.
So, from Charlie Chappelle, this is what is your least favorite Transformer, official toy, and third-party toy in your collection, and why?
Oof.
So, who wants to dive in there? Sixo?
Least favorite Transformers toy.
Yeah, so official and third party.
Yeah, so I can have either.
Yeah,
there's a good caveat there. He said in your collection, which makes it a lot easier.
Very true. Yeah, I think without a doubt the most woeful thing I've ever handled, vaguely related to Transformers, is that Ace Collectibles Cliff Jumper, which was just abysmal. I mean, I've seen a few third-party Cliff Jumpers along the way, but this thing really took the biscuit as just the worst of all of them. It was just awful. It was kind of loosely modelled around Masterpiece Bumblebee, the first one, but just bad. I mean, no fun to handle, looked dire. And the worst of all of it was, and I think I've mentioned this before, but I was told pretty uniformly that they expected a positive review out of it. They sent me a review.
Oh,
copy.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. And I tried to say to them, like, not
sorry.
really sure what the kind of angle I would go for on like a positive review of this thing. And they were like, no, it's got to be positive. We don't want to, you can tell us the negatives, but we don't want you to publish that kind of thing.
Wow.
And I was like, well, no can do, I'm afraid, because there really wasn't anything good to say about it. It was like, I would wanted to have said anyway, this thing is, dog shit. So yeah, that was without a doubt for me the most hateful thing I've handled.
Hateful. All right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's
It was
definitive. That was definitive. Liam, what about you then?
Oh, well, in terms of third party, I'm just going to follow Sixo's lead and return to the episode we did, because it's going to be Ditka. Like good grief. That wasn't even my collection. It's just a toy I hated because it was awful, and I don't understand how there's anyone who could ever possibly like it.
Oh, yeah. Listen to that third party Heaven and Hell episode. It's
just... Jesus. But I don't really have many third party toys anymore, but official wise, I mean, in my collection, the question, to be fair, was least favourite, so there's not really anything I've got left, because I tend to thin my stuff down. If I don't like it, I tend to get rid of it.
Yeah.
So I think at the minute, like the two things I would look at and say I was recently disappointed by and might not keep for very long was it's the Road Rocket they did. Was it in Legacy?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
it was
Legacy. Another one. Yeah,
but it's from the RC mold, and I think because it's RC, it's so obviously Prime RC.
Oh, because you really liked the original, didn't you?
I love the original. That's great, but it's through no fault of the toy of its own. You know what I mean? I think it's just when I look at it, it's like it's RC with a Road Rocket head. It doesn't quite hit.
Yeah, it doesn't sell it for you.
Yeah.
That's
fair. No, that's fair.
Jason, you're going to bring up Supreme Cheetor, I assume.
That is it. That is your favorite. My least favorite Transformers toy is Supreme Cheetor.
You say that, but
simple. But I just like to mention it every time. Keep your enemies closer. That's what it is. In case it tries to bite you.
You love it. I think you secretly love it, honestly.
I genuinely can't think of what my least favourite Transformers toy is. But Supreme Cheetor is a good shout.
I'm the same though, because that is packed up in a box up in the loft. But I don't, for third party. Third party toys are pretty spenny, and everything I own, I've made a very specific choice to own it. So I want them all. Let's put it that way. But yeah, favorite Transformers official. Least favorite, sorry, Transformers official. Oh no, Freudian slip there. I said favorite, didn't I? Oh. Supreme Cheetor.
Yeah, definitely a favorite.
Yeah, exactly.
I see you.
Right. Next question. It's from the Mapes brothers, who you might recognise.
We do.
How do you store the accessories that come with figures if there are too many for them to hold?
Oh, I'm so glad they asked this.
Yeah.
In a drawer.
So is that true, Liam? Just all in a drawer?
One big drawer.
Literally a drawer there, and I tend to I've got like a load of, the little baggies.
Or like Ziploc.
Yeah, I like to make it sound like they're all in their own, so I'd know which they are, but they're not. They just go in whichever one I pull out first. Just go in there. Just go in there.
I have a fairly good system for this, I like to think. Liam has seen it in action. So I have right next to me, actually, just here. I have shelves, and I have big tubs, plastic tubs with no lids or anything, but they don't need to be sealed. But then each tub is for a different thing. So I've got like a tub for G1, one for Masterpiece, actually several for Masterpiece, and then like most of it is for third party, actually, because there's so many accessories for third party stuff. It's just ridiculous. So like, for example, there's a box for fans toys stuff. And then in there are bags for each individual figure with all of the various accessories in. So they're all sort of stored there. And it just helps for doing photography and things. It means that I can pull them out and kind of get to them really easily. And I've tried a few different things over the years. That just seems to be the one that works for me the best.
Yep.
I've seen it in action. It's fantastic. It's a great system.
Thanks, man.
Similar. I have 4 20-litre really useful boxes that each one is for a line, so be it G1 or Masterpiece or third party, and within each box is a baggie which has a sticker on it, and on the sticker I write exactly the figure it goes with as well. So it's all very clearly marked, and this includes my Masterpiece coins, and kind of I have a separate box which is a 40-litre box, which is for all of the manuals and instructions and all that kind of stuff as well. So it's
you
all
have 120 litres of accessories and bits and bobs.
I have probably more than that, Liam. Actually, it's like, it's yeah. I should take shares out in really useful boxes because I have so many of those. It's insane. But yeah.
Well, they are really useful.
And when I did go and eventually look for that Triptychon accessory that I was hoping I'd be able to send your way, which unfortunately did not come to pass because I'd already sold it.
I still don't know which ones it is, to be fair. I know it's two, but I can never remember which
Well,
two.
I was just going to try and find the two. But I was straight in there, found them straight away, found the bag, and not that time. But
thank you for checking.
That's all right. So thank you to our patrons for those questions. Send in more if you're a patron so that we can answer them for you. That would be awesome.
Now, we should also mention for tonight that we do have a sponsor. That is tfsource.com, so do check them out for all your Transformers and third-party needs.
And remember, if you want to get some cool-looking stuff and look just as cool as we do...
Right.
I said that with a straight face as well.
There's an incentive.
Yeah, I know.
Selling it,
Just as cool as Jason Statham, that's where we go.
Oh, yeah. For some reason, I thought you were going to start talking about gloves for giving birth to cows or something again. I don't know.
Pulling out a calf. That's what it's for.
Well, maybe that's what we could add. We could add to our Rebel Boys gloves for calf pulling gloves and Joseph's Technicolor dream coat for Jason there.
Yeah. To get your inner beast out. That's what you need, these gloves.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
You can find all this merch and stuff on rebel.com/people/Triple Takeover/explore. Explore. And if you want to talk to us about these animated toys we've spoken about, tell us what your favourites are, what you liked, what you didn't like, If you felt there was a character that should have got a leader toy that didn't, or a Voyager, then you can hit us up on social media where you can look for Triple Takeover on Instagram, Twitter, Blue Sky, Facebook.
Those are the ones. Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Not Mastodon.
Not Mastodon.
No.
No Mastodon.
No, but we are on Blue Sky now, indeed. That is a real thing.
Yeah.
Sixo, where can they find you?
I'm at SixoTF. Anywhere on social media that you might find a little @ handle.
It doesn't make it better.
Put my own spin on it, hasn't it?
He's such a cheeky little scamp. If only you could see his face, listener. You could see his cheeky face.
How about you, Liam?
Listen, Jason, tell them what you want to do.
Well, I have jswags.com.
A website.
Oh, gosh.
Old school. Yeah.
Jason, you also want a Bebo and MySpace.
My MySpace is still active, probably. Which would also be myspace.com/jswags. Ovs.
Just give me a postal address, Jason, honestly.
No, it's the same, isn't it? Yes. Liam, where are you?
I'm Toybot Soapbox. Anywhere you can find an @ and the original one of those.
The OG.
Yeah.
The little venom in his voice, though, as he says it, honestly.
It's all mine.
Stealing my bits.
It's my thing. I'm stealing your bits.
That's
what you get those gloves.
Yeah.
It's not a cough.
Don't want to know.
Oh, dear.
Anyway, that's feeling animated. There you go. Anyway, I think we're about done for the episode. Do check out our Patreon content for more on Transformers Animated that will be up very soon. Looking forward to that, and thanks for listening.
Fools.